Hello, bonjour. Welcome to the Union Safety Net, le filet de sécurité syndicale, a union podcast for working people. I'm your host, Sébastien Bezeau, et oui, parfois en français aussi. This podcast is hosted by the Union of Safety and Justice Employees, le syndicat des employés de la sécurité et de la justice. Join us for an informative discussion every month about issues currently affecting working people. On May 1st, International Workers' Day, the Canada Revenue Agency announced that more than 1,000 term employees in contact centers across the country will not be renewed when their contracts expire on May 16. It begs the question, how will this impact services to Canadians? We sat down with Marc Brière, National President of the Union of Taxation Employees, to find out what's going on with our taxes. Confrère Brière, bienvenue au filet de sécurité syndicale. Listen, I have to give a warning to our listeners in English and in French. Marc Brière and I were both francophones, we're both bilingual, so we tend to be passionate about public service. We'll try not to bang on the table too much as we chat, and we'll try not to switch languages a few times to make it easier for our listeners. Marc, let's talk about, before we get into the job cuts, talk to us about your members. Who do you represent? How many members? And what do they do on a daily day at work?
Our union represents approximately 31,000 members, all working at the Canada Revenue Agency. They do, various work. They do tax collections. They do customer service as call center agents. They process tax returns, obviously. They do some audit work. They help out taxpayers when they get issues with their tax returns after filing. Could be an adjustment on their tax returns. It's a lot of different work that people rely on a yearly basis, on a daily basis.
And 31,000 is a lot of members to represent, and they do an important job. And we have to remind Canadians, your members, they don't take pride in collecting taxes. When we have to call them, we have to remember they're just doing their jobs, right? I mean, I'm sure they encounter difficult situations. What do you hear from them about that?
Well, I know firsthand how they feel because I myself, I'm a tax collector. So I have dealt and I know they deal with unhappy people. But we are still proud. We do our work, but we are proud of it because I think that we know that our work help out the government to pay for all the social programs, all the services that the population is relying on, to be fair, that everybody pays their share of taxes. But, it's difficult. We receive death threats. There's a lot of incivilities. People want to come and sometimes bomb the office. I mean, it's part of the job that people are not always happy. They let you know. We need to manage that and calm them down and let them know that they can't do that. If not, the RCMP can go pay them a visit.
And that's not an easy job, and to get that kind of work environment as well. Now, these jobs, I mean, we're not talking jobs that are paying over $150,000 here. What kind of money are these people making roughly?
On average, I would say between $60,000 to $75,000 on average.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it ranges higher and lower, but about $75,000 a year on average.
Now, you did touch on the important roles that your members play. Can we please take a stroll down memory lane? I'm going to channel here my inner Golden Girl, people. Picture this. The COVID-19 pandemic. The Canadian government must provide financial assistance to Canadians on a scale never done before. Can you remind us how your members rose to the challenge?
It was really special. At first, the Canadian government asked the Service Canada to administer the emergency benefits. They were not able to do it. They didn't have the manpower, the infrastructure. So they threw a lifeline to Revenue Canada. The agency called me and said, we need your support and collaboration. We were without a contract for more than 3.5 years. But we still rose to the occasion, as you mentioned. The members were very proud, and actually, as you said, we're not always popular. So now we became, all of a sudden, Santa Claus. So we were delivering, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, the student benefit, additional payments for GST, and you name it. I think a total of 11 special programs.
Hey.
The agency was overwhelmed. We had call center agents, but not enough. people, so they asked for volunteers to help out temporarily. 7,000 people volunteered.
Hey.
Most of them are members. So we had a workforce of close to 10,000 people answering phone calls from millions of Canadians and businesses. People were working around the clock, sometimes 80, 85 hours a week, including the weekends. But they were so proud, and they seized the opportunity to rise to the occasion, and they did. And it worked out, from our perspective, it worked out well. You can't criticize the programs, but we delivered the goods in flying colors.
C'est incroyable quand tu penses à ça, parce que pendant la pandémie, puis lorsque ce besoin-là est venu à la surface, la question était: est-ce que le gouvernement fédéral, le service public vont être en mesure justement de délivrer de tels programmes dans des délais si courts? Puis, il y avait tellement une fierté au sein de vos membres et au sein des membres de la fonction publique qui ont dit, ben oui, on vous le dit, ça fait des années qu'on est une des meilleures fonctions publiques au monde. Puis là, on vient justement de vous le prouver. Spécial pareil, hein?
Oui, absolument. La première journée, là, le 6 avril 2020, là, quand ils ont ouvert les vannes, là, nos membres ont traité 996 000 demandes de PCU en une journée, puis au-dessus de 4 millions la première semaine. Je pense qu'on a démontré qu'on avait la capacité, puis...
Okay, so you've demonstrated you can rise up to the challenge in a pandemic, but let's be clear here. Last year, CRA did not extend the contracts of 2,000 contact center workers. This year on May Day, which is the globally recognized International Workers' Day, CRA announced it would not renew the contracts of more than 1,000 terms whose contracts will be expiring May 16. So now we're looking at, 2,000 last year, 1,000 this year after the pandemic. How exactly will these cuts impact Canadians, and how are we rewarding the people who saved us during the pandemic?
Well, to reward,
tough question.
to reward them, I think that's not happening. The employer, the government is pretty, I would say, disrespectful with our members, considering what they did. Lots of them have accumulated more than 3 years of service. They were supposed to become permanent. They put a moratorium in April of 2024. So they stopped the clock, preventing thousands of people from becoming permanent. Last year, they let go 2,000 people, which was unprecedented. It's normal after a tax season that they let go some people.
Okay.
It is normal.
Okay.
But what's not normal is the number of people.
Right.
The magnitude. So when they let go 2,000 people last year, the call waiting just skyrocketed immediately. And last July, people were waiting 3, 4, 5 hours, could not even get the line. So now I expect the same thing this year. They let go 2,000. They brought some back, but way less for this tax season. Now that it's over, they let go 1,000. So the trend is clear. It's going down, down and down and down. So I expect that the call waiting will just explode once again. Our members are extremely tired after the tax season. Those that are left behind. And even though they let go to 1,000, well, actually it's 1,300. At the end of the day.
Really?
But there's about 1,200 terms left in the contact centers. Their contracts, for most of them, are expiring in early September. And I'm not sure that they will be extended after. So I'm very worried for this summer and for the next tax season. But this summer, self-employed people, their deadline to file is June 15. There's a lot of calls at the CRA. People are calling for benefits in July. It's a big season. And normally there's tons of calls, and I expect it's going to be catastrophic.
It's not setting up a good work environment for your members. I mean, it doesn't matter who you call. If you have to wait 2-3 hours in line, Bell or Rogers, when you get to that person at the end of the line,
you're not happy.
No, and it's not their fault, right? So let's talk about tax evasion. That seems like a way we could get a lot of money for the Canadian public. So is the federal government, in your opinion, truly serious about tax evasion? Shouldn't the CRA play a vital role that would, in essence, require more staff?
I agree with you. All governments always claim that they want to fight tax evasion, and they do. The Trudeau government invested a lot of money at first in 2016 against tax evasion. All governments do, but it tends to kind of slow down along the way. So is it vital? Absolutely. We need to go after those who are not paying their fair share of the taxes, to help out the others that are paying their taxes. So yes, I think the government should do more. And absolutely that the employees at the Canada Revenue Agency are absolutely capable and ready to go after the tax evaders. So I think that they should invest more, keep the investment they have, not go with cuts in the audit department, and to the contrary, invest more to make sure that the tax system is equitable for everybody.
Right, and that's an investment that would kind of return more anyways. So it's a good investment.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So, Marc, comme vous l'avez dit, on dirait qu'il y a toujours des pertes d'emploi après la saison des taxes. Il y en a eu l'année dernière, il y en a eu cette année. Vous parlez qu'il va peut-être en avoir encore au mois de septembre. Après ça, je veux dire, les années à venir, on sait qu'il y a des coupures qui doivent arriver au sein de la fonction publique selon ce que les policiers nous disent. Qu'est-ce que vous voyez dans votre boule de cristal dans les années à venir pour vos membres?
Ben, je dirais même dans les semaines à venir, dans les mois à venir. Je m'attends malheureusement à d'autres coupes dans la fonction publique, mais à Revenu Canada aussi, à l'Agence du revenu. Je m'attends d'ici à l'été d'avoir peut-être des mauvaises nouvelles de l'employeur. Même pour les employés permanents, c'est possible qu'il y ait des exercices de réaménagement des effectifs. Et pour le reste de l'année 2025, je pense que le portrait est pas très rose. Moi, je vais certainement parler aux leaders politiques du nouveau gouvernement pour demander d'arrêter les coupes dans la fonction publique. Les Canadiens comptent sur ces services-là. Surtout à l'Agence du revenu, on rapporte de l'argent.
Ben oui.
C'est la vache à lait du gouvernement. Je trouve ça incompréhensible qu'ils continuent à couper à l'Agence du revenu. Et lorsqu'on parle du service à la clientèle, OK, c'est une dépense, ça rapporte pas d'argent, mais c'est parce que c'est un des plus gros employeurs au Canada et que la population et les entreprises aussi font affaire avec l'Agence du revenu tout le long de l'année.
Ben oui.
Fait que les gens, on veut dire, on veut pas payer, on veut couper, sauver de l'argent sur le budget. OK, je comprends. Par contre, de l'autre côté, les gens attendent des heures au téléphone, puis parfois, ils peuvent même pas laisser un message, ils sont obligés de rappeler.
Hey.
Ils rappellent de façon inutile. Fait qu'on peut pas avoir le beurre et l'argent du beurre. Si on coupe, il y a un effet là-dessus, puis moi, je dis que l'effet va être immédiat, mais présentement, je dirais que je suis assez inquiet au cours pour la suite des choses, au moins pour l'année 2025, puis possiblement 2026.
Ouais. Puis, je veux dire, le rôle que vos membres jouent pour le service des services publics est assez primordial. So, Mr. Brière, any last words for our listeners, for the listeners of the Union Safety Net?
Well, actually, I'm very glad that I came. I really appreciate the invite. I hope I'll come back. It's very important to let your listeners know that the unions are there to defend their members, but also the public services to the population. Mm-hmm. It's very important. So thanks for the invite, and I look forward to come back.
Thank you. So to our listeners, this was Marc Brière, the national president of the Union of Taxation Employees. Remember, if you filed your taxes or whenever you call the contact centers, be kind to those people. They're just doing their job, and remember how they helped all the Canadians during the pandemic. So thank you for listening, and we'll check in next month. Merci. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Union Safety Net, le filet de sécurité syndicale, a union podcast created by USJE for working people. If you have any feedback on today's episode or would like to suggest a topic you want us to cover, please reach out on social media platforms. We love to hear from our listeners. I'm your host, Sébastien Bezeau, and I hope you'll join us next month for another episode of the Union Safety Net, le filet de sécurité syndicale.